Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lifestyle CEO Show. I'm your host, Donna Maria, and you have arrived at the place where we empower you to enjoy your life, build your business, and have your way. In that order, by the way. I want you to enjoy your life and then create a business around that life and then have your way with both of them, right? How about that? And you can do it. I've done it. Other people have done it, and one of the things I love to do on this show is to tell you how I did it and to share with you some tips and ideas and take your questions and challenges and concerns that help you to do the same thing that I've done over the years. So glad that you're here. Welcome. Hope you had a super weekend. Please post below where you're from. Tell me a little bit about where you are and how this idea of the Lifestyle CEO appeals to you. And also, if you're watching the replay, welcome. I'm so excited that you watched on the replay, and I hope you'll leave your comments, questions, and ideas below as well. So on today's episode, what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer a question. I came across a lovely young lady last week in a Facebook group, and her name is Michelle K. And Michelle had a question after I shared with her a little bit about the Lifestyle CEO and what it meant, and just generally like very high level overview information. Actually, her first question was, how do people create a business that has predictable and recurring income? And that was sort of a general question. And so I answered and said that I had done it. And I didn't give a whole lot of details, but I shared a little bit of information. And then she followed up with an email to me with a question. So, hey, Michelle, thank you so much for asking your question in the group. And thank you also for sending me a question so I could learn a little bit more about you. So Michelle, by the way, is pregnant. So congratulations. She's pregnant with her first child. I have her question right here. I'm going to read it from my iPhone. She says, I am currently pregnant. Oh, I'm sorry, I just closed the question. I am currently pregnant with my first child, and I'm looking for ways to transition my deeply meaningful and impactful business into a model that allows me to have flexibility in my schedule as well. That was one of the things we talked about, was freedom, flexibility, fun, family, and finances, right? The 5 Fs. We talked about one of them in the group, most specifically the flexibility, because when you're going to be a mom, you're going to seriously need some flexibility. I would be so appreciative to learn more about how you did that and to start my own process. So thank you again, Michelle, for that question. How did I do it? Okay, so I took some notes and I really just I thought back, like, how did I do that? And of course I know how I did it because I did it. But actually, Michelle, like, I didn't have anyone to teach me how to do it. Like, I didn't ask somebody, like, I want freedom and flexibility in my life, but I want to work, and I don't want to work the job I had, which was a full-time traditional job. But how do I do that? Like, I didn't know anybody who could even answer that question. So if I had been around for myself 20 years ago, I would have loved to have talked to me, because I'm the perfect person to answer this question for people. And one of the reasons is because a lot of things you're going to have to make up as you go along. Like, a lot of people will tell you, like, there's a system and there's a 1, 2, 3 follow me system that you can use. And there isn't. There is not. And there's even less of a system today than there would have been back then when I started, because of technology. Like, the systems are constantly changing, and you need systems in your business, obviously, no matter what kind of business you have, whether it's a lifestyle CEO type business or not. You have to have systems in it. So one of the things that I want you to be aware of is be wary when people do tell you that there's like a 1, 2, 3 follow my system. Now, there may be some things that can be done in a sequential order that do make some sense that you would want to follow, but there really isn't a system. There is no one size fits all system. So what I want you to do is take my story and take what I did and sort of wrap your own life around it and then create your own system. Because really, you guys, that's where the magic is. The magic isn't in following someone else's system, someone else's ideas. The magic is in looking what other people are doing, getting an idea, getting some inspiration, and then creating something of your own. That's the only way that you're going to be able to create what we talked about last week or last month, which is that blue ocean. right? If you create a system that's just like everyone else's, you're going to be in a red ocean. Why? Because it's everyone else's system and everybody else is following it. But if you want to be in a blue ocean where you're swimming around and you really don't have to worry about other people nipping at you because you have your own ocean, then you want to be able to learn from other people, but then create your own. Create your own blue ocean so you can be swimming around in it all by yourself. So I took some notes here, and what I want to do is share with you basically what I did. I mean, I literally, when I was about to get married and have and start a family, this was before I was pregnant, I was looking at my job and I was thinking, I'm engaged to be married. I want to have children. I like my job, but I don't like my job for my future mother self, right? I did not want to be a parent in the job that I had. And I watched other parents that were doing it before me at the company where I worked, and I didn't like what I saw. I saw a lot of tears. I saw a lot of dragging around. I saw a lot of just really complaining about the hours that we had to work because we had a very demanding job, and how you could juggle it all, and how the nanny was always taking care of the kids and seeing their first steps and teaching them how to read, and how when they needed to go to the pediatrician's office, it was this really huge big deal. Normally because, they had to take off work and maybe they had a project due that day, and, babies don't wait around to get sick. So when it's convenient for you, they just get sick. So you need to have, I wanted to have something else. So the first thing I thought about, Michelle, was I thought about my lifestyle. And I really, really got serious about what kind of lifestyle I wanted. And I wrote it down. Like, I took notes and I really thought about, like, what do I want my typical day to be like? So before I even started planning a business, I really just sat down and looked at my life, because that's the most important thing. You want to plan a business around your life. And in order to do that, Michelle, you need to know what kind of life you want to have. So as you talk with other women that you know, other parents that you know who have had children before you, maybe some relatives, maybe even your own mom, like, ask them, what is it like? And get some tidbits of information that you can use to decide, well, I want this in my life. I want that in my life. I want a little bit of this. I want a little bit of that. I don't want any of that. Like, make a decision and predict how you want your life to be. So lifestyle predictability is very important when it comes to building a business around a life. It's also very important when it comes to parenting, because one of the things that can make parenting even crazier than it otherwise would be is no predictability, like no sleep schedule, no schedule to tag off with your partner about who's going to take care of the baby. It can be chaotic. If you don't have Tuesday and he has Wednesday, and you take Saturday and he takes Sunday, and who's going to do it at night? If you do it as you go, there's no predictability and people can't get ready for it. But if you know that Saturday night's going to be your night, if that baby wakes up, then you can prepare for that on Thursday and Friday, so that you can either get all your work done or make sure you have extra sleep in, or just prepare your mind mentally and for what's going to happen when it's your turn. So lifestyle predictability, Michelle, is the very first thing that I did. It's the very first thing that I did. It's foundational and it's super, super important. And again, no system, no one size fits all, right? You decide what you want your life to look like. The second thing that I did was I decided that I wanted to have financial predictability. Now, I didn't really know what that meant at the time. I had always received a paycheck every 2 weeks for my whole entire life, except for a brief period of time when I had quit my job to open a retail store. So I actually knew what it was like to have financial predictability, and I knew what it was like not to have it, right? Because I had a retail store and it did not do well. So I knew what it was like to have both. And I knew what I wanted. I wanted financial predictability. That was my preference because I had experienced both. So I knew, though, that as an entrepreneur, I was not going to make the same amount of money every 2 weeks. I was probably not going to make much at all the first year of my business. I was prepared for that. I knew that was probably going to be the case. But I also knew that I wanted to build something that had predictability. And what did that mean? I wasn't really sure what that meant, but I kind of figured it meant getting paid the same amount of money approximately every 2 weeks. So I wanted to duplicate that as much as I was able to. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew that the business model, as you asked, like, I want to set up a business model. You have to set up a business model that has financial predictability. built into it. Like I recommend this for everyone who is an entrepreneur, for everyone that starts a business, but especially if you want your lifestyle, if you want your business to reflect and build around your lifestyle. If you want your lifestyle to have predictability, you're going to need a business that has that too. So you're going to want to create probably recurring income, right? Recurring income, maybe a subscription box of some sort, a membership-based business, which is what I have. And so that gives you some predictability because you can set your goals. You could say, I want, to sell 50 boxes every month, and here's the price of the boxes. And if you sell 50 of those boxes, then you know exactly how much money you're going to have. You can also do this with any sort of product that you might make, whether it's lipstick, sugar scrub, handbags, purses, whatever it is. You can just, how many can you make, right? How many can you make? How many do you need to sell? How will you price them? And how much money will you make if you sell all of them? And you can do the math and figure that out. And so again, though, it depends on what kind of lifestyle you want, what you're going to actually create. And so I can't really help you there. I don't really know anything about your business. But what I want you to do, Michelle, is I want you to think about your lifestyle first, and then I want you to think about financial predictability. What can you offer? What can you do? What other business models have you seen that incorporate financial predictability that appeal to you from a lifestyle perspective? And that's going to give you a clue about what direction you want to go in. Okay, so the third thing you want to do, Michelle, is you want to build in some efficiencies. Okay, so whatever those are for you in your business, you're going to want to make it efficient. So you're going to want to use technology for this. A lot of efficiencies boil down to technology. They also boil down to hiring people. So you may or may not need that. You're definitely going to need technology. You may or may not want to hire people on the front end, but you definitely want to build in efficiencies into the business when you're doing it all by yourself, so you can actually do it in less time. And probably cost effectiveness probably results from efficiencies as well. That means you do it in less time and you do it for less money. So if you're making products, physical products, you want to find the components at the least expensive price you possibly can. You want to pass on the shipping charges. You want to find the best website, e-commerce site, the best merchant account that takes the least amount of percentage of processing fees and things of that nature as you can. So that's going to save you money. And then the efficiencies come through technology. So you want to make sure that you've set up some technological efficiencies into your business. Some autoresponders, some automated payment opportunities for people, some email responders and things of that nature that are going to make it super efficient for you to serve people as your business grows. So efficiencies is the third thing. This leads to number 4, which is systems. Okay, the systems are the success in any business comes from the systems. If you can systematize the creation of your products, the creation of your services, the delivery of whatever it is that you offer, if it can be systematized in a way that doesn't remove the personal touch, I'm not talking about be a robot, but if you can systematize the mechanization of your business, like how things work behind the scenes, whatever you can systematize is going to help you build that kind of a business model that's going to give you the 5 F's, right? The finances, the family, the freedom, the flexibility, and fun. Those 5 F's are where it's at. And if you have systems in your business, you add them on. And as you go, like you don't start with 50 billion systems. You start with what systems you're able to handle yourself, and then as your business grows, you add more as your business is able to handle them. Those systems are extremely important. So for example, don't just have a newsletter. Have a newsletter that gets published every Friday at 2 o'clock. That's my system for my newsletter. The newsletter, you can subscribe to it at donnamaria.com. If you subscribe to that newsletter, you're going to get it on Friday. And you're probably going to get it close to 2 o'clock. Now, it might be a little bit after, if I'm a little bit behind, if it's a really busy week. Sometimes, I remember one time earlier this year getting it out at like 11:58 p.m. on a Friday night. Probably not the best time to send out a newsletter, although I will say on Saturday morning, people opened it up and I got a lot of email responses to some of the questions I asked. But I have a system, right? That's my system. And if sometimes I miss the newsletter on Friday, I don't stress out about it. I have a system. I know that the following Friday, I'm going to make sure I get it out. So what I want you to do is I want you to create systems. Like don't cheat yourself by sort of saying, well, I think I'll probably do it next week, or maybe I'll do it next month, because, that's a recipe for it never happening, especially if you're a mother, because the next time you plan to do it, something's going to happen with the baby. It's just like, Murphy's Law. Something is going to happen. It's going to get in the way of that system, or get in the way of that idea, or that notion that you're going to do it. So you're going to need a system to make sure that that doesn't happen to you, and just add these on slowly to your business. And the last thing I would share with you is make sure that everything is repeatable. Like, make sure that you are able to hand off as much as you can to someone else that can repeat. Now, technology can repeat some things, right? For example, when I first started my business, I did everything myself. Everything, like everything. I even processed manually the membership renewals. That's right. I would call people up, get their credit card number, and I would actually then, I had a secure service through my merchant account provider. I would actually type it in to the website, the secure website, and process the payment. So I would call a person and I would say, your membership dues are due this month. I have a credit card number, a payment method. They would give me a Visa card. I would type in Donna Johnson, the address, the security code, the whole 9 yards. And I would do that every single month for the people whose memberships expired that month. And so my memberships were annual at the time. Right now I have monthly and annual, but at the time it was all annual. So I had to do this every month. And there were lots of them as time went by, because why? There were no systems in place back then when I started in 2000. I don't know of anybody that was doing this in 2000. I was making it up as I went along. I didn't know of any systems. There were no systems in place. Technology was not available to auto bill people, as far as I knew. It wasn't available. Maybe big, huge, massive companies used it, but small businesses on the internet, it just wasn't there. So it had to be done manually, and that's what I did. But it was repeatable. Like, it was so repeatable. Like, I could sit down with my calendar and I could say, I'm going to make these phone calls on the third Thursday of the month between 3 and 6 o'clock. I'm going to knock it all out. And then sometimes people weren't answering the phone, or maybe the credit card didn't go through and they lost their card and there was fraud or whatever, and then we had to go through the whole thing again. I did that all by myself. Now systems take care of it. But the point I'm trying to make to you is that it was repeatable. Like, it was something that was repeatable that I could hand off to someone else. I never did hand that off because credit cards, right? I didn't want anybody to ever accuse me of having someone on my team take their credit card information and compromise it in any way. So I did it myself. So if it was compromised by the Indie Business Network, then it was me. So we could kind of trace back what had happened. There was no guessing. That never happened, by the way. But the reason I didn't hand it off was because I didn't want that to happen. But the reason it didn't overwhelm me is because I had repeatability built into it. So when it was time for me to bring the systems on board to do it for me, it was so easy. Because I didn't have to make it up. Like, I hired somebody to help me do it, and he said, well, how does it work? And I told him, this is how it works. This is what I do. This is exactly what I do. Here's when I do it. Here's the information I need. And basically, he went out and set up the system. So it was so easy because I had a system. And if the system hadn't worked, I could have just kept doing it manually. I wouldn't have wanted to do that, but it was working. So I would have definitely done it. So those are the things that I want you to keep in mind, Michelle, just by way of review. You want lifestyle predictability. You want financial predictability. You want efficiencies. You want repeatability, and you want systems. Okay, those are the super, super important things. So on the front end of all that, though, obviously, you're going to need to know what you're going to offer. And this is where there's some real artwork. Like, this is where you're going to have to really think. So what I want to encourage you to do is I want to encourage you not to create some awesome program or product and then go find your target audience. What I want you to do is I want you to create the product for your target audience, right? So don't create something awesome and then go, gee, where's my target audience? Like, I'm looking for my target audience for this thing that I've made. Don't do that, okay? Because it's going to frustrate you, and why do that? Like, you want to reverse that and make sure that you know who your target audience is so you can create the product for them, right? So much easier, so much less stressful. So in my case, back in 2000. That's a long time ago. There was no Facebook, there was no Twitter, there was no Instagram. There were listservs, and listservs were basically email messages that went out every day or every week, depending. You could program how you wanted to get them. They were email messages and conversational email messages between people who enjoyed something or who had a common interest. Like, it was really, really a precursor to the Facebook group of today, or to the forum, the bulletin board forums of today. And so what I did was I joined one of these groups these email listservs because I was an aromatherapist and I was interested in aromatherapy. So I got together with aromatherapists on a regular basis and we talked about aromatherapy, but I was also really, really good at marketing. I was naturally, and I'm still naturally, really good at creating systems, identifying market opportunities, identifying product opportunities. I'm really, really naturally good at that. And so I saw the opportunity in there to see what people's needs were in that group. They were aromatherapists, they had businesses, they were really, really good at what they did, creating products, creating blends for people, helping people live better lives through aromatherapy, but they didn't know how to market. So I saw an opportunity. Hey, I can teach you how to do this. And I know aromatherapy because I'm an aromatherapist, so we speak the same language there. And then I can also teach you how to market your products. And so the Indie Business Network was born really out of that. But I didn't have to go find my target after I created a product. I knew who the target was, and then I created a product specifically for them. And that's just what you want to do. So as you're thinking about lifestyle and efficiencies and all that stuff, I want you to make sure that you're creating something specifically for a very, very specific target audience that's identifiable. Like, don't let it be like, moms. Like, that's kind of a, group of people, but it's way too broad. Like, you need to dig down deep. Moms with children. Too broad. Way too broad. Moms with twins. Now you're getting somewhere, like, right? Moms with twins under the age of 5, even better. Moms with twins, 1 boy, 1 girl, under the age of 5, better, right? Okay, in the United States, better. And so what you want to do is you want to narrow it down to a very specific target and then find out what that target needs. What is missing from the marketplace? What will they pay for, right? Because just because they need it doesn't mean they'll pay for it. What will they pay for? How much will they pay for it? Generally, you have to do some experimentation there. Obviously, you want to cover your costs. And then you can start creating some products and services that can serve that particular market. So when you go out to make the sale, you're not searching high and low for your target audience. You just go straight to them, and there they are, right? So spend some time in communities where there are people like you, but spend more time in communities where your target audience is, right? Those people may not be like you, but spend some time in those communities because that's where the people are going to be who are going to be interested in buying your products and services. So I hope that's helpful to you, Michelle. Again, how to create a business model is a really good question, and I'm so glad you asked it. And again, for lifestyle CEOs, it boils down to lifestyle predictability, financial predictability, efficiencies, systems, and repeatability. And of course, the big thing, which applies to every business, is have a target audience and create products for your target audience and not the other way around. So that's how I did it, Michelle. That's it in a nutshell. If you need more help or if anybody else needs some help, I can help you. So you can go to donnamaria.com. You can click on the Work With Me tab. I'd be happy to set up a time with you where we can have a personalized one-on-one consultation where I can walk through some of these ideas with you and really take what's happening in your life, in your business, what your lifestyle predictability looks like, and help you create the financial predictability, the systems, the efficiencies, and the repeatability that you need to be successful in your lifestyle CEO business. So again, check it out at donnamaria.com. Click on Work With Me. I'd be happy to help you there. So I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock a.m. Pacific, right here at the Lifestyle CEO Show. I'll see you then. Have a great day. Bye-bye.